The way you walk, the way you laugh, baby. I like the way you walk away when you be mad, baby. Get in my arms, let me caress you. I like the way that you aggressive. I need you, girl, I need you best. I need you, baby, girl, you best. She call me but I am back around, baby. When I go sleep, baby, you be shaking on my mind. I ask some shit if you be making my babies. No better than it, but I need you on my right. I wanna see you, but you acting all crazy. I wanna see you till you acting all fine. Don't wanna love me till you see that I made it. Don't wanna be it till you realize that I shine. Give me your heart, my Cinderella. You know the haters, cause we better. They try to make mistakes regret us. Girl, you's amazing, girl, you better. Back around, baby. Got it all, let it all, have it, my baby. Have it all, got it all, let it on, baby.
Hey, that was Baccarat Baby by artist Carter Don Dada. You know, it's hard for me to say that in English. I mean, what we call Yankee. But anyways, you can check him out on YouTube. That is my nephew. I want to welcome everybody to Off the Record, where no topic is off limits, giving ourselves as well as our guests a space to share honest opinions that's uncensored, unfiltered, and unscripted. Tonight's discussion. Oh, there's a lot going on. So tonight's discussion is going to be when public figures spark controversy. I am your host, Uno. I'm here with Renee, Tasha B, and Apex. So once again, today we're going to have a discussion on the phone. But before we get into that, there's a hot topic, and I don't even know if y'all have been following it, but my friend sent it to me. Have y'all seen the news with Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Man?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, my okay, so here's the backdrop. Apparently, Pooh Shiesty is already on probation, meaning that he's wearing an ankle monitor. He left whatever state he was to come here to Texas to hold Gucci Man at gunpoint to release him from whatever contract he has with Gucci Man. Now, here's the thing: not only did he force Gucci Man to have to sign the contract of release, but he also robbed Gucci Man of jewelry and stuff like that. And apparently, the police here, they actually caught him because they did the monitor thing. How do y'all feel about? I feel like he done kind of ruin his career because they're saying that if he goes to try and get convicted, he can spend the rest of his life in federal prison. It's
I'm
like,
confused. Did he just get released?
yeah, so that yeah, he got like now you're back in and it was him and his dad and other people. So it's like now you done put yourself back in the same situation that you just got released from. And it is crazy to me how a lot of these rappers or entertainers or celebrities, quote unquote, is ruining their lives for something crazy. Like I was telling my friend, look at Prince. You remember when Prince changed his name because he couldn't get released from the thing? That's what they need to do. Like, don't put out no music, change your name, and then go independent, whatever. But fact
because
is,
they're
hold
not
them.
that good.
Say that again.
They're not that good. You can't change your name. They change your name and no one cares about you. That's the reason why you're doing it. Stupid
Well,
does
I
as
mean,
stupid is. As a
see,
stupid is, a
Prince was
stupid
already
does. Which way?
established by that point, right? So I can understand why he did the symbol, but I didn't even know who Pooh Shiesty was until this came up.
I thought it was the mask. I ain't gonna hold you.
I just don't get it. It seems like there's so much going on with I want to say our community that is kind of disheartening, but it is what it is. We'll see what plays out. Actually, you know what? I definitely, if he goes to trial on this, I'm gonna watch that trial because I did watch the trial with Slim Thug, no, Young Thug, and that was an interesting trial. So I'm definitely gonna watch the trial on that.
Do they have it? I'm going to be on TV, or they're just going to post it on the outside and said, "Hey, he was convicted. He's going to jail, spending the rest of his life of being stupid." What is it? I'm going to be on
I
TV.
don't think you can have cameras in federal court.
I think
If,
it's gonna probably be televised because of the fact it's Gucci Mane.
Yeah, it could
no,
be.
is it federal or is it state? If it's federal, no, you can't have
Well,
federal.
they're saying that he can spend time in federal prison, so I'm assuming that will be federal court. Versus with Young Thug, it was just regular civil court,
It's state court. So
criminal
yeah,
court.
no, you're going to get the updates. You're going to have people typing in the inside. This is what he
Yep.
said, and this is what's going on. And here's a little
I
picture
really
here
don't
that I'm going to
care for
draw.
the typing. I don't care for the sketches. I want to see. I remember watching court TV. I like court TV because you get to see the actual trial. I watched the Casey Anthony trial. I have seen the trial of. So many of them I've seen. So I actually like the trial. I don't care for the sketches, but we'll see what happens with him. I
Yeah, most of those
never
are
watch it.
state trials. The federal ones, you're
Yeah.
not going to allow them in. So yeah, that's
Nope.
what the state. And so
That's sad. I would just tell, well, that's off topic. Never mind. But
no,
yes, I
it's
would
sad
definitely
that
like.
he's
Oh, you
there
know what?
doing
I
dumb
will
stuff.
wonder if they'll put because I got to watch. What happened?
I said it's sad that he's get caught doing dumb stuff. It's ridiculous. There's
Well, you
one
know,
thing
if there
about trying
wasn't
to sign
stupid
a
criminals,
contract.
well, if there wasn't stupid criminals, a lot of them be walking on the street. He's as stupid as he is, so we can get rid of him. Just one less person that our people have to look up to.
My thing is how he thought he wasn't going to get caught if you want an ankle monitor to begin with.
I
Right.
know. And there was other people there apparently that had on ankle monitors, but we'll see what happens.
Oh,
And it
This
was
world's
is
dumbest
cameras.
criminal.
again, we're
It was
stupid. It
cameras.
goes as stupid is as stupid does. You even if you were not on an ankle monitor, do you not think they're going to track you? You can't get away with big time stuff. They're going to find you. If they want to find you, they'll find you.
That's
Period.
that's true. So in other news, now not only was he bring controversy, but we're gonna talk about Shaka Khan, Chili from TLC.
Oh
We're
boy.
gonna talk about Nick Cannon, and also we're gonna talk about Jaden Ivey. And Jaden Ivey, I waited to the last thing. But one of the things that, and I guess it's more. I want to do a social thing with a lot of with the podcast that we're hosting. But with Shaka Khan, I guess I want to get your take, um, because she's getting backlash on a comment that she made about Ike Turner. I guess she recently went on to a podcast show where one of the ladies asked her, well, how do you feel by Ike Turner? She said that he's a lovely human being. And ever since she said he's a lovely human being, all the people came out after her. And I guess one of the biggest thing, um, the biggest thing that people said is because those words are she's facing backlash, by stating her her comments basically remove his accountability due to his history of violence. And they try to say towards Tina Turner. I remember one time he was on a show and his ex-wife that he was married to before he died said that she never experienced that type of violence with him. So, do you think her comments really? I guess I should ask it this way: is it appropriate for a friend or peer to publicly defend someone accused of serious wrongdoing in their past?
I actually went to watch that podcast. I watched the whole thing. It's like 50 minutes long. And I don't know, maybe I'm gonna play devil's advocate because knowing Ike Turner as a friend versus knowing Ike Turner as your husband, your manager, because he was Tina Turner's boss, husband. He was in control of her whole life.
Mhm.
Right.
So for people on the outside seeing him and interacting with him, he's not going to give the same treatment to those people that he probably did to the people that were closest to him in the band and actually living under the same roof as him.
Right.
So I can say like she's speaking as a friend, not as his girlfriend, not as his wife, not as a lover. So
Right.
she probably had a different experience than than she did with that Tina had with him. So I would give her like some grace on that. I don't think she invalidated um her like Tina's experience. She was just speaking for her as a friend.
Right, right, right. So what is y'all what is Apex and Tasha B? What's your take?
Go ahead. You take it. I'll go
No,
down.
this to me it's utterly ridiculous. Realistically, again, you sit up here, we're judging. Hey, this is my feelings about this person. This is what the society we are in. We're in a society that people want to make comments and hey, this is what happened to her, and this is what happened to Tina, and this is all. He can't be a nice human being. If we look at today's society, if all the people have done all this different stuff, We have everyone coming out defending. Well, he's great. Well, she's great. Well, she didn't do this. Well, it doesn't matter. If you don't have the
Right.
relationship, go ahead and say, hey, you know what? I don't agree with him. I think that's a little ridiculous. Keep going. Keep life moving. I don't think it's, I think it's more of a ridiculous situation that we're talking about it than it is that she said the comment.
Yeah, I think for me, what are we saying here as a society? Are we basing our opinion on people for one part of their life? Because he had a whole life before her and he had a whole life after the relationship was ended, but his name was kind of slandered because of what went on with her after the movie came out. So I don't know that we can just hold somebody to a past behavior or behavior on that time. So I kind of agree with Shaka Khan speaking up from her experience, saying, "Hey, he was a nice guy. We did such and such and such." That's her experience with him.
Yeah, because I think in her interview she talked about how he flew her and her group out to perform or something like that. And they've been friends ever since. And she also mentioned that she met Tina a few times, but it's not like they were friends. So yeah, I'm along the same lines. I feel like people's interaction. Listen, I used to be something serious back in the days. Okay, so for me, I feel like with the and the people that know me now know my change. So I would hate for my past, and I know some people that will still speak about me negatively because of my past versus now. So yeah, I think if I have changed over time, you've seen my growth, I would want you to say that I was a good human being as well versus holding my past against me. And I think that's what
Right.
a lot of times that's what people do. I know one specific person right now that would hold my past against me. Thank goodness me, that person is no longer friends. But I know specifically, if given the opportunity, they would definitely try to have other people's opinion alter about me. So it is what it is.
And
But
she
yeah,
did say that drugs had a big part to do with it because,
correct.
in the industry. So I guess she was not trying to absolve him of whatever was said about him, but give context to like what probably happened to him with the industry and getting involved with like heavy drug use and stuff like that. Because wasn't he like heavy on cocaine or coke or whatever the case may
Yeah,
be?
yeah. Because she also mentioned that she also partake in cocaine and stuff. She like yeah. So um yeah, listen, back then I don't know if there was really a functioning drug addict, but nowadays you can see functioning drug addicts all over the place. It doesn't alter their personality at all. They can still be the nicest person or whatever. So yeah.
That's technology.
But, and I
That's,
think that's
I'm
what
saying,
she also mentioned that it was part of the time, and I think that's why a lot of people think that it diminishes what his actions of domestic violence.
it's a different time. So, and again, I understand you can't necessarily hold everybody accountable for everything that was in the past. I mean, there's certain levels of stuff, but at the same point of time, it's the place and time. Again, unfortunately, at that particular time and place, even with domestic violence, you domestic violence is a different thing now than it is then. So,
That is
so
very true.
again, if this was current day and what they went through was current times, then I think you could say something. But the way that it was handled, the way that the mentality was then, there wasn't much of anything that was going on. And actually, they were speaking on it, and no one did anything for Tina. So can you blame Ike on that? I'm saying there's a certain level. I know there's a portion, but if for her, my relationship with him was this, let's keep it moving. Like I said, I think it's more ridiculous about everyone coming for him than anything. But that's just me.
Mhm.
That's true. I just remember when he went on the Geraldo show with his wife. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. But I remember the Geraldo show. So the next up is Chili. My take is different, and it's so the thing with Chili is that she posted, I guess she retweeted a meme, and this is what they're saying when it comes to her. She retweeted a meme of Michelle Obama, and I guess it was like a blurred out
No, it was the one that they had made him superimpose Barack and Michelle's face on apes
oh
or
yeah,
gorillas.
they also said that she retweeted a meme of Michelle Obama registering as a man back in 90 something to vote.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's why she's getting backlash, because now a lot of people are saying that. You know what? A lot of people are saying, whether she posted the monkey thing or whether she posted the trans, well, they say transvestigation or something like that. They're calling her transphobic now. Or they're saying that she hates Michelle Obama and stuff like that. So one of the questions after controversy that Chile, um, and apparently Chile did come out saying that, she never posts anything, not that she didn't, but she said she doesn't talk negatively about people. So it was not her intentions. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know how Tweet is because I don't use Twitter. But when I'm on TikTok, I know you actually have to press the share button and then it pops up on your phone that says reshare. So there's no way that you can actually repost something on Twitter, but on TikTok it might be different. So I don't know. But she did come out and saying that she would never speak ill of people in general.
She's lying. She's lying.
Thank you.
She's lying.
So
She's
see,
lying.
so now that you say she's lying, I'm gonna say this because a lot of people support the Obamas, right? And my question is, do you think that in the black community, because I really only want to cover a lot of stuff that pertains to us, but do you think in the black community this incident is gonna have a long lasting effect because now they're trying to boycott the tour that she's on and asking for money?
Exactly. That's the only reason why she came forward with some kind of apology is because they're in a tour. She's in the tour with different groups that support the Obamas, that are heavily against Trump. And she messed around and retweeted it. She probably meant to send it to somebody or something, or she didn't think that people were actually paying attention to her page. Either way, I know for a fact that she supported Trump, and she just didn't want that backlash on the tour. It has nothing to do with how she really feels.
They had it there where she donated, I think, $1,000 to the Trump campaign, and it was like $7 to Ted Cruz or something like it. My thing is, you can be Republican, you can have whatever political belief you have, but being a MAGA Republican, that's a whole different level.
Well, she did say that she is not a MAGA supporter, and she doesn't. She only supports some of the policies. So I'm going to tell you like this: I support
She's
some of the.
lying. She's lying.
Well,
No, and here's the thing.
no,
Here's
wait,
the
hold
thing.
on, hold on, hey Bex, hold on. Because my thing is that I always tell people I separate MAGA Republicans from traditional Republicans. I think MAGA supporters are more extreme than Republicans because a lot of Republicans that I've spoken to or know, they have, I won't say their thinking is always logical, but they know how to decipher what is true and what is not. So to me, I feel like if she's saying, I don't like that face, Tasha B.
It's
No, no.
giving Stacey Dash. It's giving you're
Ooh.
unidentifying with. First of all, you have to. You're saying, oh, well, I agree with some of the policies. The policies that you're agreeing with don't. The overall theme of what this administration is doing is hurting more than the one thought that you might agree with. And I think
Yeah, but
that's the problem.
she can be somebody that, for instance, I agree with the immigration policy that he has. I don't agree with how they're going about it. And I don't agree with ripping black artifacts or taking out books out of school because you don't want to teach the truth. I don't agree with you removing memorials of MLK. I don't believe. Now, the one thing I do agree with, another thing I do agree with is that not to have what they call trans women, which they're really men dressed as women, in sports or in the same jails as females or in the same locker rooms as females. I do agree that
But you
ought to
can't
be
stand
removed. Anything else
behind
under it, I'm not okay with.
but you can't stand behind an administration that has more policies than just those few things that you agree with and
You
vote
can
that
agree. You
way.
can be a one term. You can be a one issue voter,
Here's the thing, though.
agree
But
with one
you got to
thing. You don't
understand something.
necessarily have to. So you don't have to support every. Listen, it's like being a
You
friend to
can't.
somebody.
You need to make those changes on the local level and vote
That's
for your
true,
local
but
state level. Not a whole country is going to be affected by the decisions of that administration.
I
Apex,
understand.
what
But
do you
still,
think?
But
I
here's the thing.
go ahead.
Here's the thing. And there's a couple things that we went past, but I'm gonna address it here real quick. Again,
Yeah.
you can support, and I actually disagree with Renee. You cannot, and actually, Uno, you cannot. Being Republican is not being a Republican. It's not that. I'm not talking about you being a Republican, have certain beliefs. One to where I think Taj is going is this piece. It's not about the, again, do you understand these different levels? It's what is going to administration going to do? See, the first time around with Donald Trump, we didn't know what he's going to do, how he's going to act, that kind of thing. I didn't fault a lot of people for the first time around because again, he said a lot of, I'm going to do this crazy stuff, and okay, he's not going to do that for the detriment to the country. Second time around, we knew what he was going to do. So if you are, again, I don't agree with women competing against men and the thing. I don't agree with a lot of these different portions, but I could not vote for Donald Trump or anything about Republican, because if you vote Republican and the Republicans are supporting Donald Trump, you are voting for Trump and his craziness. You cannot say one particular
I'm
issue.
sorry.
The
I
one
disagree.
issues are at the state level or whatever else. For example, in
Right.
Florida, they have a different portions, and we're going to vote on these different things. But you got to understand, if you put in certain Republicans or different portions in the Senate and that kind of thing, they're going to go out and pull out the Black history. They're going to go out and pull out some of these things. And when they do that, we can't be surprised when they do it, because they've said it from the beginning. I'm going to take out women's rights.
I understand.
Period. When he said women's rights, and any woman, and hey, this is my opinion, any woman who voted for Donald Trump and is now upset that you don't have rights as a woman, what you should be surprised with yourself. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. He stands by his words.
Well, he put it to the state level for a lot of the things that's going on, especially with
Not with abortion. He didn't.
yeah, I think it is back to the state.
It's
think-
not. It's
No.
not. They're banning
No.
abortions in most Republican states.
No, that's what I'm saying. He put it back in the place of the states to make the decision. So now the states are saying that you cannot have abortions. But that's a whole nother.
Oh no, that's
But
half
the
of it. But
problem,
then
but
again,
the problem is the state they planted certain people that were going to back up this
It doesn't matter.
project
It's still
that they
to me, it
had
does- to
in,
me,
pos-
it doesn't
in
matter.
position. But okay, for you it doesn't matter. So it's not heartbreaking
Because
to you.
no,
to
because
see,
my
like, for
thing is,
instance,
once
the black
again-
lady,
Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
the black lady that was found brain dead, but because this no abortion law, they made her have the baby,
Place it back with the
and they
state.
kept her
regardless.
in
And
ICU.
unfortunately, those who voted these people in, because Florida's a Republican state, I think Georgia is a Republican state or change Republican. Unfortunately, yes, it goes back to who you voted in. And that's why people need to do their research on who they're voting in, because when you have a president that's going to place something back into the state, which this is off topic, then unfortunately this is the cost that people bear. Anyways,
But
that
I think
piece
I
is-
think
but immigration
it's
is-
on topic. It's on topic because this is what Chile is standing behind. The mask of her wanting to have the fortune and the tour is now being impacted because she
True, I get you.
reposted something that is against most of her fan base, their
See-
morals or what they're standing for.
we need to find out what you're behind. And people need to come out in droves. And again, unfortunately, us as a people we don't really stand behind our people in different concepts and different things and issues. We boycott it when it's okay, when it makes sense. We don't do the boycotts that used to be back when Martin Luther used to do. We're going to walk across the city without taking your bus. We don't have that society today. When it comes
Yeah.
inconvenient,
Which is true.
hey, it's okay, it's all right. But now again, now we're not going to your concert. I mean, I'm glad we're going to do that, or people are going to do that. But it's a concert. It's one person. You shouldn't be spending. Or they're going to
But
vote her
my
off
thing is,
off the tour.
hold on. But the
Yeah.
one thing that surprised me was when Salt from Salt and Pepper came out in support of Chili. I'm like, ma'am, you could have kept your mouth shut because what happened with her is now going to affect y'all's pocket. And by
It
you
should.
actually saying, um, we know you're a good person and all this other stuff, now people are now zero in on you. Like, you could have just not said anything and just let it go.
I
Exactly.
hear what you're saying, but let's go back to the thing about what we just spoke about Shaka Khan now. She defended a friend.
Yep.
You may not agree with everything that your friend does, but you have the right to defend them.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
I'm glad
you
that
might
I'm
not
glad
agree
that
with
Salt
it, but
stepped up.
she defended a friend.
Yeah, I'm glad she stepped up because we know who you are. See, what happened in the
That doesn't
previous
mean
deal is
you
we need to know who you are.
know that she's a loyal person. That
No, she's
doesn't
not.
necessarily
Wait, no,
mean
no,
that
no,
she agree. That does not
no.
necessarily
That's a
mean that
difference.
she agree.
You can't. My
This is
thing
this
is
day
this.
and
Hold
age.
on. You can't compare Ike Turner to being a MAGA Republican, especially
No,
when
no, no. I'm not
your vote.
no, I'm not comparing them. Go ahead.
No, but when you're in support of certain things and it affects your community in a
Okay.
way that's detrimental to your community, I'm gonna look at you so differently, and I'm gonna move around.
And
And
you
you
have
can support, and you being in support of that person tells me you could be like minded.
Yes,
No,
and
you
that's
are
everything I
like-minded.
need to.
Not.
That's
No,
everything
you
I want
are.
to
no, you
Right.
could be
So
like-minded.
I'm gonna move
No,
around.
I agree. I agree with that, but I think she still has that right to support her friend publicly.
No, I'm glad
Because
she
the
did. Like I
thing is,
said, she
that's
has
the
the
part
right.
that people, not y'all. I'm just saying that unfortunately, people are no longer critically thinking for themselves, and they want to jump on a bandwagon. That's how
No,
I
but
feel.
we're in a
I'm
situation
not
right
saying
now.
you. I'm
We're
not
we're
saying y'all. I'm just saying
no, I'm
in
just
general.
saying we're in dire straits right now. Our country is in dire straits. And for you as a black person to come out and say something against Michelle Obama or the Obamas
You
is
have that right.
really tell
You have the right. It's a freedom of speech.
Yes.
Now there's
you
consequences, but you have that right. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
you have the right, but like we're saying, it's speaking to your character. It's more showing of your character and who you are as a person.
Yeah, like I said, I was gonna say we finish the point. I'm glad, and again, in this day and age, we moved away because we chastise bigots and racists and imbeciles and all these other people. They're hiding. See, before a lot of this, before the council culture, people will come out and say some real dumb stuff, and you could counsel them on the side. You can go ahead and do all kinds of stuff. You couldn't get to them. Now we have idiots like Chili that's doing that. Salt wants to come out. Please do. So I know where you stand, where your mentality is, and how to, as when they say, move
But
around.
people
I
have
know how to
but the
move.
thing is, to
Move
me,
you
I
off
feel
this
like people
island.
have the right to change their mind, right? So there might be some things you do not agree with. I was gonna put me in the example, but I'll leave that alone.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
might
yeah.
be some things that you don't agree with a person, but you still have somebody that is willing to support you. Might be a detriment to them, but they're willing to support you.
You
There's
So
certain
can't
I
things.
be
think
Yes,
you can't
agreed.
be a diehard you can't be a diehard Republican so hard down
you
that
don't know
you're
she is
gonna
though.
vote, but you can't be in a position, and I think this comes with like human just human nature. You cannot be so for a political party that you're willing to vote in somebody that, like, if one or two things you like, but the rest of what they're doing is so
But,
far
but, hold,
less. How
hold
could you
on.
stand up for that?
No, no, it's not
I
even
get
that.
what you're saying, right? I get what you're saying, right? But for me, myself, I end up not voting for Trump. I'll just put it out there. Because when he had that debate with Kamala, he didn't have anything as far as like what he was gonna do on immigration. But a lot of people who voted for him probably only liked one or two things under the policy, because I was a one issue voter when it came to immigration. um, so I was a one issue voter. Unfortunately, I didn't end up voting for him. But now you see you see everything that is playing out after he got voted into office.
But you knew that was going to
So
happen.
sometimes hindsight is
Exactly.
2020. No,
No.
because
In this case, it's not. In this case, it's not. I'm
you-
saying, no.
you may not agree with me, but
Here's the
let's
thing.
move on beyond this, because there's
Yeah,
another
real quick,
topic.
I'm going to finish up this
Got
time.
it.
Go ahead. Again, I'm just going to go. You
30
can,
seconds.
to
Go
your
ahead.
point, you can stand by your people. I understand what you're saying in that respect, that, hey, your friend gets in a little trouble, they have their certain views or whatever else. There's certain things that you can support. I'm not going to abandon friend because of whatever else. Like I said, one of my best friends, he lives in a Republican state. He has a lot of issues in his state, guns and hunting, a lot of the Republican pieces. All right. He's a minority. Okay. There's a lot of stuff there's certain things that are there. But when it came to it, he knows, and he can't say like, again, he's in a state that 80% of it's going to be one way. What is my one vote going to do? I get it. Even if you do whatever else. But because of the state stuff, he votes Republicans because of those gun rights and some of the stuff. And I get that. But he also can also point in time is we can't have idiots in office trying to get us killed. We can't have this stuff. We're going to do things to march against it. If I have someone like Chili that's sitting up here saying, again, to point, she sent it to the wrong people. She wanted to send it to somebody as a joke. It got brought out and she got caught. She's retracted that because she wants to make her money. So it's what it is. But
Okay,
you,
let's
as Salt wants to go ahead and do so, she needs to be
Understood.
handled in the same manner.
Well, we'll see what happens in the future if it's really going to affect her in our community. I don't think it is, because they're icons. I don't think it is. But the next topic I want to bring up, look at that face. Let's talk about Nick Cannon.
Don't do it.
So Nick Cannon recently
Nicholas
was on
Cannon.
his show with Amber Rose, and Amber Rose is another level of stupid to me. But anyways, Nick Cannon is a guy, and I'm just gonna point this out with him. Nick Cannon, to me, is the scenario with him is he states in the interview with Amber Rose that Democrats is the party of the KKK, and he's also known as a Trump supporter, another Trump supporter, right? But some supporters say that Black conservatives are saying that that they agree with him for confronting historical truth regarding the Democratic Party, and then non-supporters are criticizing him, accusing him of spreading misinformation by using 19th century history. My question on this one is, in light of the comments, should audience continue to support Nick Cannon, or should they not support him?
First of all, what's real disappointing about Nick Cannon? You're a Howard University graduate,
That's what I
and
say.
your minor was in Africana, and your bobble-headed ass sat there and made the statement about W.E.B. Du Bois, but you didn't give the full context of what he said. If you're going to make a statement, give the full context. Just don't blurt out part of it and not finish it. Again, if you're going back to, yes, everything was flipped. Democrats were in support of like slavery, and that was in the Southern Democrats. Northern Republicans were more, liberal, but as time went by, those parties flipped, where the Republicans were more conservative and Democrats became more liberal. You're going back to a time where that things were looked at a little bit differently. You cannot apply that to 2026.
Yeah.
Over the last 70 years. No, here's the thing. The last 70 years. We're not even, it's not even anybody's lifetime. Majority of it, and it's beyond 70 years. It's actually like 98 years. It's no one in its lifetime that's actually doing anything that it impacts. For those French people that are above 80 years old, they were 10 at the time. They could not vote. So there's only probably 1,000 people or less that were actually able to vote. I don't even think there's people able to vote that's living to do so.
Right.
Now, here's
And
the
the
thing
thing about it is he had a bird. You're sitting there with a bird, a certified bird, in your car.
So should we?
I
Two
don't
birds.
even listen to. he's not even someone that I would take any. I wouldn't even listen to him. He's not relevant in anything that I would listen to as far as an opinion.
And I don't
I
think
went
most
and
people
watched that
are.
interview. I did. I sat there and I looked at the two dummies sitting around, riding around, and I was irritated by it. I'm like, why are you interviewing this bird? First things first. She brings nothing of value to anything.
That's
Yes,
true.
she
Why
does.
would anyone?
She does. She brings a certain presence to the Republican Party so they can clown us on national TV. That's her purpose. That's what she's
No,
there for.
a lot of
That's her
people,
purpose.
yeah,
She's
a lot
been
of people say,
manipulated.
It's
She's
not
been
even
bought off.
manipulation. Exactly. She got paid out. She got a
that's
bag,
what, yeah, I
but
read
she's sitting there talking about, oh, Democrats don't support black people. Bitch, you just sat there and said that you wasn't black a few years ago. You can't sit here and pick and choose what race you want to be because you trying to throw
Stay relevant.
support at that part and throw support behind some of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And I'm like, you look stupid, uneducated,
And the
so many
problem
negatives.
is
so
that
with.
people do follow the nonsense. Here's the thing that I'm
Well,
annoyed
wait, hold
with these
on. Let
people.
let so my question once again is what should I? It sounds like y'all won't be supporting him. I was
It doesn't
never a
matter
fan
about
of his.
support. I mean, I don't support him that much now anyway. So
So,
again, most of
Exactly.
so if you're talking to the masses of the black community, what would your advice be to them after seeing an interview like this? Would
Why are
you?
you watching that?
And why are you listening to Nick Cannon and Amber Rose?
Right.
no. Here's the thing. What we need to do is what we needed to do from the get go. Find out what you believe in, support that, and then support that on the local and state level so we can have change. And I'm not just saying it just for a plug. Nick Cannon is not. Even if they were saying stuff that wasn't intelligent, they're not you. They're not on the level. They're not with the people. They don't represent you.
Mm,
Amber Rose, Nick Cannon are in that almost ultra 1.1%. They are voting and going with people who give them the bag and with the Republicans because that's where the tax breaks. That's where Donald Trump puts his people in. That's where all the people are having it. They could care less of what you do. All they want you to do is they want to look like they're doing something so you can give them more to their bag. But otherwise, they can care less about you. Period.
Which
that's
is
a tough.
true.
That is
Yep.
a well, not for me. And Nick Cannon is not somebody I would follow or listen to, anyways. Um, I've just never been a fan of his. So, but it's crazy that somebody that graduated from a HBCU would make such a detrimental statement and then put it out there because
That's what money does for you.
that
Yep.
is true. People
He's a
chase
I
sellout.
find
And
like
here's the thing.
a
I didn't
lot
want
of
to say
these
it, but he's a
celebrities,
sellout.
which is true, but a lot of these celebrities that have gotten to that point where they are in that upper echelon in that tax bracket where they want less taxes on their millions tend to switch sides and start becoming Republican because they want those tax breaks. They're
And
not
I
part
would.
of
It's a
they're
tough
not
part.
part of the everyday person. You know, they're not part
Exactly.
of the everyday man. So what we go through on a day-to-day basis and how it would affect us will never touch them, will never affect them. They could pack bags and move to a whole nother country if they think it's better for them. While we have to
And
sit
save
here and
taxes.
deal with that.
Exactly. And just like our other show we talked about, Nicki Minaj, she went and flashed that card that she got status, and he didn't have to say nothing when she put it out. He could have let the world think that he had issued that. But he came and checked her and said, no, that we didn't give her that. That was a memento. So they're using these celebrities for a certain purpose, and they
Oppression.
do, yeah, they're using them for that.
mm,
That's
that's a
it.
strong word. That is a strong.
It's what it is. Again, we have came so again, we're definitely more free than we've ever been in history. However, we are equally still oppressed on certain level because again, and I was trying to get to it before, we as a people do not band together. We don't have each other's back. We don't know what real togetherness means. We don't know what a family means. We don't know how to sit there and do for us. So what happens
Well, many of
is
us.
that
Don't
what's
say
up?
we, because we sounds like everybody. Just say some of
We as a
many of
people,
us.
and again, unfortunately,
Many of us don't know what family
there's
is.
20% of us that knows what's going on. 20% is not the majority. So
No, I'm just
we
saying.
carries it. 51% carries it, and there's more than
I'm
51%.
I'll be part of that 51. Don't say we.
No. You're part of the 49. But I understand.
I know.
I get it.
I know.
But
I
we
got it.
as an overall people need to get out of oppression. Because what
That's
happens is these different things gets us to do stupid stuff like overspend, like over pursue. Let's go ahead and go gank somebody, hold them to gunpoint with their ankle bracelet on, and think we're going to get away with
yeah.
it. And because these other people have gotten off with handshakes or approvals or pardons, and that we're going to get that pardon. No, you
No,
will not.
I think that's why Snoop. This is what is alleged. Now I don't know, but I think that's why Snoop played at the thing for Trump, because they said that Trump pardoned somebody that he knew. So
Again,
that's
Did
why.
they? Did he?
That's what they were
Right,
saying.
did
I don't know
it probably will probably be on the side. They're about to, he was about to pardon
whether
Diddy.
he
He
got
was
money
about
or
to
got somebody
pardon
pardoned. He
all these
played for
people.
the thing, and he lost just like Nicki Minaj and just like Stacey Dash. Once they aligned themselves with Trump, the only person that has not lost people, I guess, is Candace Owens. She's the only one. But
What is Snoop
but everybody
Well,
else that was,
Candace-
because she's not really supported by the black community, quote unquote, like Snoop and Stacey
No,
Dash.
what did Snoop lose?
But anyways, huh?
What did Snoop lose?
No, that's what I'm saying. So she's the only black person I know that supports Trump that hasn't lost anything.
No,
Because
man.
I think
What
her
did
base
I don't
is
think
more
she
no, I'm
so
supports
asking you,
him.
what
white
I
did
don't think
Snoop
she
audience.
lose?
supports him anymore.
No, what did
No,
Snoop
she
lose?
doesn't.
Well, I don't think that she's really that much of a. Well,
She doesn't
yeah,
support
get in
him
trouble.
anymore.
But okay, so we'll move this along because there's
No,
a lot.
real quick.
Listen,
I just want to know what did Snoop lose?
we're gonna come up
Snoop,
to another political
Snoop
show
just
at one
lost
point.
some fans off of his page, but
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
He's
Yeah, Snoop lost over 1 million people, just like Nicki Minaj when she came out
no.
saying it's
Here's the
alright.
difference. Okay, here's the
We're
difference.
not touching.
He got
We have
paid
to move on to the
$75
next
million
one.
from the Olympics. He's fine.
That's listen. After Snoop seen that horse crunk walk and he got into the Olympics, yeah, he's not really missing anything because
He's like,
really
hey, let me
here's the
lose
thing. We
fans. I'm
tend to
tripping to
forget what
35
people
million.
have done. Yeah, we have forgotten what people. We tend to forget what our community have done, and we continue to support them. So that's really what this is about. Should we continue to support people that you feel is against our community by aligning
Are we
themselves
actually going to do something
else?
about it? Is my
So,
real question. But go ahead.
well, here's the
Let's
No,
next
but
one,
someone
because
did make a statement, and I forgot who it was, but they made a statement. The reason why black Republicans or black Trump supporters that are entertainers are not really losing out is for the simple fact that a lot of people never had faith in them in the first place. So they're not losing. The reason why there's not a lot of outrage against those celebrities is because the community never really had that much faith in them as far as like their political affiliations or anything like that. Because
that's
it
true.
was Snoop back in the day. He was in court for murder. So it's like, yeah, why are we surprised when stuff like this happens? It's like we're not surprised. We never really had faith in them in the first place like that. We never looked to them as a political anything because
and
he
we
flip
didn't vote
flopped.
accordingly. We
Yeah,
didn't do anything
I get
for it, and we didn't back them on it. So again, we backed them on the records, but
so.
we didn't back them in anything else. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't change much.
Mm,
But go ahead.
So, well, here, listen, the last one, this is a big one. I made sure I saved this one for last because we're going to talk about Jaden Ivey. So the scenario is he criticized the NBA support. He criticized NBA support for the gay community and the LGBT, I guess, IA plus. I didn't even know they added IA. I don't even know what the IA stands for. But anyways, Pride Initiative labeling them as celebration of unrighteousness. People reaction, now he has been released from the Bulls, and people reaction is kind of mixed. They support him, and then some people don't support him. Another one of his teammates, and a lot of people said that they support him on his team. My question is, should athletes like Jaden Ivey face professional consequence for social media content, or should
Yes.
their personal belief be kept separate from their careers? What are your thoughts?
Yes. Yes, both
Yes,
answers yes.
but they should face consequences, or it should.
So here's the thing. When you have these big contracts, there's a morality clause. So if you for
Wait.
cause
We're not going to talk about the corporate yet.
no. What I'm
I want
saying
you
is
to.
that should they signed what I'm saying, you signed a contract. It's like anything else, you got to be held responsible for it. Now, here on the other point, should they? No, they like I've mentioned and I've said several different times. It depends on what you do and how you do it. He put this out there. You got to understand you're going to take a backlash. So there's multiple levels to this. You signed a contract, yes, you should be fired. 2, you set it out on public. Well, your
I don't
employer.
agree, but that's me.
But again,
I'm
this
different.
is what you sign up for. Now,
I'm
as
old.
an American, should you have the right to say what you want? Absolutely. You should be able to say what you want, when you want, how you want. But
I
reality
understand that
is
there's
freedom comes
consequences.
at a price.
Listen, I understand that there's consequences, and I'll come up with a story if we have enough time. But in all honesty, for me, I don't think that I can separate what he said from his career. And I say that because
Okay. Mhm.
yes, he has freedom of speech and
Yep.
he can believe whatever he wants to,
Yep.
but I think that his beliefs should be kept separate from his career. And
He
then on
needs to
top
keep
of
it
that,
separate from his.
I would have fired
But
him
they
if
own
I
they own
I
his
would have
they
fired
own
him.
his but they own his Instagram. They own his social media for the time he's within that team. I think that's what you're missing.
Yep.
Yeah,
When he
but
signed on,
for
when he
me, I
signed
don't.
on, his page is no longer his like personal feelings, personal diary. That is a
I'm gonna tell
reflection
you.
of the team and the team's values. Unfortunately.
No, I feel this way, and I don't care what people do behind closed doors. I don't care none of that. To me,
Yep.
I feel, and I understand what you're saying, right, Tasha B. But I feel that is he's speaking from a religious belief that it's
Don't
unreal.
care.
Right? It's not like he's going out there saying, "Oh, go and beat them to death" or
No.
something.
What doesn't matter?
I know that's more extreme, right? But I feel like if he was telling people to harm them, that's more detrimental to the NBA versus saying that it's unrighteous.
No. It doesn't. It
People
doesn't
still
matter.
can buy tickets.
Hold
No.
on, because if you watched his rant, and I'm gonna say rant, I feel
That's
like he's going through a some type of religious psychosis because he's like his wife disappeared on him. She's not answering her phone. I feel there's a lot more going on behind the scenes outside of him condemning the NBA and calling out Steph Curry. And I think that had a lot to do with why he was
I don't think
released. Is how he came off.
you can't tell somebody how religious they are or not. So that
But
was
I
wrong.
think, but I
No.
think there's more. I think there's more than like she's saying. I think there's more to it where they wanted to release him anyway. But now that you're going public with all these different things, they're like, let's cut our losses. Um, you
Yeah.
can have religious. I mean, there's players that go out there, they pray before the game. They kissing and
Yeah, but that's
shooting in
different
the
though,
air and all
because
that
when
kind
you
of
stand
stuff.
for something, you're gonna be attacked, unfortunately.
And that was the choice that he chose. I'm sure there's some team internationally that he can join, that he can go.
Yeah. Well, here's
I'm
the
just
thing.
saying.
Yeah,
Any
I'm
and
like,
again, and here's the thing, and I understand if religious, not religious. He's just talking about. He wasn't talking again. There's a portion of what it is. He was not talking about again his individual. He attacked a certain class. He went in singled out. So here's the thing. If this was a recording that someone like Sterling, it was in a closet, someone sitting there trying to get him, and it was in his own house, and he was just talking, that's one thing. But you put it on social media. Once that happens, it's no longer your own views. You are now attached to your team, your job, your church, anyone else you're attached to. And so again, should he be able to say what he wants? Absolutely. But it can't be out and open. It's just
I
like if
don't
you go
think
on
they
TV
should
and
separate
do
it from
so.
his career. That's just me though. I'm always on the outs.
But my thing is
I
like,
didn't
where
take
did it
offense
come
to it.
from?
no, that's a
Because
part of his job. It's a part
where
of
did
his
it come
job.
from? It's not even Pride Month. That's in June.
Well,
Where did it come from?
what he is saying is that let me tell you what he's saying is that the NBA is inviting them to these events to celebrate Pride Month and LGBTQI plus. I'm sorry, I have to
Plus,
look at it because I don't remember. I just
it
remember
sounds racist.
Yeah. But he's saying that the NBA is actually inviting people to celebrate these, even though it goes against his religious beliefs. So that's where it came from, because he's saying that the NBA is actually thing. But I'm gonna follow with a story. And I'm gonna say this story. I remember a couple years ago, and it may or may not make sense, but I remember a couple years ago there was when I drive for Uber part time, right? And there's a young guy that was 17 years old, and he was telling me that he wanted to be a professional soccer player because I was taking him to his soccer practice. He like, oh, I wanted to be a soccer player, and I no longer want to do it. And I'm like, well, why don't you want to play soccer? Because if you have the love for it, it should be. But he was saying that his team is trying to force them to wear the LGBTQI plus patches on their uniform, and he
Yep.
says it goes against his religious belief. And he says
Good.
now he's being forced to wear it, so it's
Yep.
taking away his rights and giving other people rights. I say
Nope.
that to say this: it is okay for individuals to support them out front or in the background, but I think it should be a choice when you work for any athletic organization. Like, you don't.
It should be a choice. Did you say it should be a choice? Hold on.
It should
You
be
said
their
there was a
choice.
choice?
So the
No,
individual,
no.
because you remember a couple years ago there was a baseball team that they were trying to get to wear the gay pride, and they said no. And a lot of people came out saying, I forgot the team, but a lot of people like, oh, I stand with that team. So I think it needs to be an individual choice if you're in a whether you're in a
So you
position
supported
like
Kaepernick
NBA.
then?
What
So
happened?
you supported Kaepernick?
Yeah, because I feel like if you want to stand up, if you want to wear a LGBTQ or the pride flag on your uniform and your partner doesn't, that's okay, because you're still allowing them to have their rights just like
No,
how you have your rights.
But this is but again, once
so
you have
no, you
so
should
part
not
of your
force it
employment.
on somebody.
No, that's not a force. It's an automatic.
is.
So part of these teams.
It is.
So part of these teams.
To you, it might not be a force. To me, it is.
Oh no, it is no. It's not a force. And what I'm saying is not a force. It's not a force when you're
It is a
part of
force.
something that. Can I finish my point before you interrupt? It is not a force if you agree to do anything the team is. When you strap on the Bulls uniform, when
It's
you
a force.
strap
I
on
don't
whatever
care what
else,
you say,
you
it's a
have it,
force.
and it's not a force.
So
It's an
it needs
automatic.
to
And
be
if you don't want to abide by it, you get out.
It needs to be.
It's no
individualized.
individuality on a team.
No,
It's not that.
They're forcing, and I'm not saying being gay is right or wrong.
No, I don't care. Like even with the same thing with the NBA, they force everyone to do the Black Lives Matter. Okay,
and I don't think that I don't even support Black Lives Matter. So if I was an NBA team,
when
I
they
wouldn't be
did
out there
that,
kneeling.
there was people who did not want to do it, and
I'm
because
just
it was
saying.
the
Right,
it
but
was
you're
because of the
saying
league.
but once again, if you're forcing somebody to partake in something that they do not believe in, to me, it is not right. Everybody
You're right. No. It is right. So again, you don't
It's
have to
not right.
say. No, here's the thing. You are
You do have a
100% correct.
choice.
It's not right, and you have a choice to put it on or not. But you also get a choice to be employed. You have a choice not to be there. You have a choice
I
not to get
understand
paid.
that part,
That's
but
the choice.
you're
They do have a choice.
stripping people away of their rights. You're forcing you're forcing the rights of somebody else onto someone else, and
How?
you're taking away that other person's right. Yeah, unfortunately, I just think that I myself think that it needs to be individualized. If I want to kneel, if I want to put on the LGBTQ, I can, and if I don't, I don't. That's just my opinion.
If it's the jersey, I
out.
understand that, but I'm trying to understand your opinion, because if I have a team, it's not your team, it's my team. My jersey has this. And again, the league rule is everybody wears the same thing. So my jersey is this. Huh?
Are you in the contract? Look up the league rule.
Look it up. It is a league rule.
I'm just saying, I don't know.
I'm telling you this. This is the same thing. This is league rules. The team has to wear the same. It's about whatever everybody has to have the same thing.
Bad league rule.
That's when you have the players union. But if you're a part of it,
I think you've taken it. I personally think that it's not so much of it being an LGBTQIA plus thing. I think he's having a religious meltdown. And he's taking the one thing and focusing on that, and people, and he's just having that meltdown.
I wonder if his wife left him for a woman. Now that you say that, that could be where the
I could be wrong. I just feel like there was something else going on in the background, and she dipped because if she felt unsafe because he was having some type of religious whatever.
No, no,
And then
understood. Because I feel like, and I only pose that question because there's a whole lot of things that's in the Bible that people like, that people should be against, but he specifically chose. That's the only reason I say it, because some people listen. Never mind. That's another criminal
No,
story.
here's one other question I ask you. Why does it matter if it's religious or not? So let's say it's just because
I don't think
I
for me
don't
it doesn't
like
matter if you're
X.
religious. It matters too. I don't think it's
Oh no, no.
for
What
me.
I'm saying is you said because he should have a choice because it's because of religious, and he's saying is this. I'm gonna go
No,
out
I
and
just
say,
no, I don't. No, no. For me, it doesn't matter if it's religious or not. I just think that
okay,
people should have a
perfect.
choice.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think they
care
should
about
have
the
a choice.
religion, because my religion says something else, something to the
Exactly.
effect.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it has nothing to do with religion with me, because here's the thing: if we can talk about religion another time, but yeah, no, for me it's just a personal choice. I don't care about it being
Okay.
religious or not. Yeah. So, but those are the hot topics. So what would your takeaway be for tonight's topic on everything? Like, do you think, like, because to me I feel like cancel culture is a detriment.
I think this: if you are in the public eye and if you are a celebrity or someone that's in the public eye, like it or not, when you make a stance on certain things, it might have a backlash and a very negative effect on your livelihood. So you have to be very aware of what you say, how you say it, and how is it's going to come across to people. Whether you believe it's going to affect you or not, sometimes it's going to come back and bite you. And in all these instances, you're getting backlash from the Black community because your beliefs and your stances are are basically saying, "Well, I don't care about how you live and how you survive because I believe that this person is right, and I want to be, and I'm in this particular tax bracket, so I need to protect my millions. So I'm gonna jump over here, fuck everybody else."
Yeah.
And that's how everybody else looks at it. Like it's a fuck you to the Black community because you take this stance that has an effect, like it or not, on us.
Hmm.
So if you are going to be a celebrity I don't care if you're Republican or not, but there's levels to this.
I'll
And
agree.
I feel like MAGA Republican is so far left and so extreme that it is really taking a negative effect on the Black community, on the POC community as a whole. And we're gonna look at you like, damn, you don't give a fuck about us. You just trying to get your money. I understand getting your money, but you're
Yeah.
not getting my money.
Yeah, but look, I know Tasha B, you probably gonna talk to me after this and be like, we've been friends for so long. You like, what the hell were you thinking? So
Right.
what are y'all?
I went off on family about the same thing because I just can't see, I can't reconcile like what you were thinking at the point where you said, "Hey, I like some of the stuff he's saying, but it's like you can't separate it because he's telling you up front, this is what I'm gonna
Some
do."
of us can. Me. The
Yeah,
only
No,
reason, listen,
so
I'm going to explain something to you. The reason as to why I say that, right? Because of course, my family's Caribbean, right? And my grandmother at the time, and we talked about this one time before, because she was not, and she's British Virgin Islander, and because she was not, uh, 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 she did not have a green card. She was in her 70s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and also, um, whatever. At that age, and my grandmother has a third grade education, and they specifically told her, if you do not get your citizenship, we're going to deport you back. Now she was in and out of the states for so long. So that's why I think people that have been here, my parents even got their green card when I was like 15 years old. So it was like 10, 12 years when they lived here, but they worked towards it. So I feel differently. That's why I said I was a one issue voter, because for people that have been here for 20, 30 years, have children, have grandchildren, you still haven't gotten your card? No, I have
but you
with
you
that.
have a personal
That's what I'm saying.
vendetta
That's what I'm
about
saying.
that.
Everybody is different because I have more of a personal thing with it.
But even if that's the case, you should have kept in consideration what this
No,
crazy man was going to
no,
do.
I was the one.
But to
Yeah, I
answer your
should have.
question,
I should. You're right. I should have. But like I told your girlfriend, moving forward, I'm not just gonna focus on one issue. I'm gonna look at the overall picture.
and that's
Yeah.
and that's some of the
Understand
stuff that should be for this particular portion. I think the takeaway is that I'm glad that we have still some fight that we're going to do some cancel. Okay, that we need, but we need to do it in a manner in which it makes sense. I don't like the cancel culture as we have it set, but we need to be able to get together when people do dumb stuff. Or again, if this energy that we have for Nick Cannon and all these other jokers came to voting time, then we won't have issues in this country. But what we do is we go to sleep, we go ahead, and then we wait till the end. And then I understand you don't do this time, but you got folks, hey, I'm going to go ahead and immigration is my key. We should have a portion of coming with a vengeance that says, hey, this dude's about to take out women's rights, other blacks' rights, oppression. Let's go there and vote and get it done. Let's go ahead and get these people out of office and kick these out and get to where we need to be as a people. That's what
I
I
agree.
took from
Right.
Not
this.
only that, they need to be a more of a turnout when it comes to midterm elections, state elections, because that's, to me, that's very important as well. Not just the big election, not just the presidency, but you need to be at a local level picking people that's going to fight for you, that is going to go in there fighting for your interests, and not just letting that part slide until the next election for 4 years. And I don't want to hear shit from nobody that don't vote.
Okay,
Period.
listen, I understand that. So that wraps up today's conversation. Actually, see, I just want to let people know our conversation does not aim to tell you what to think. It just challenges you to think. So everybody perspective matters. So if you want to reach out to us and give us your perspective, you can reach out to us on Facebook at ORT Podcast Show USA. TikTok page is going to be at Off the Record _USA, and then also I created a YouTube channel at Off the Record USA, no underscore. I'm still working on getting other stuff together so people can actually call in as well. But that does it. Until next time.